Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Harry Horrigan and this is my YouTube channel. Now we've been away for a while, I haven't posted in the longest time. However, I am back, I'm coming to save you in this lockdown with the 7 books that you have to read in this lockdown. They will change your life. Happy November, I hope you're all keeping safe and well during this crazy time. Now I do realise that this time might be a very unhappy time for you. I'm here to save it. I've got my favourite books, my 7 top recommendations for you, and no word of a lie, they've changed my life and they're going to change yours too. On the note of changing life and self-development, I'm going to talk about my podcast. The Better Days podcast launched back in August that I've been working on all year. It's my podcast, it's created and presented by me, and I just want to talk about it because I really think that it will help you a lot during this lockdown. The first series of it is now live on all streaming platforms. It's called Better Days and I really strongly advise that you go check it out. If you're watching this video, it is exactly on the lines. Better Days is a podcast that promises to inspire, uplift and get you on the road to living your best life. And each week has a different topic, in order from vision boards to manifesting to getting out of a rut cycle to just general affirmations and things. So if that sounds like a bit of you, I will leave all the information and the links in the description box below for you to go check that out. It kind of came at the start of this year, the idea, and then it was through uni and I was going to go into a proper studio to record it. However, due to lockdown, obviously that wasn't able to happen. So I took it into my own kind of lap and did it all myself, did it at home, bought a microphone, bought, everything to it, learned how to kind of edit sound and make it sound better for a podcast and better to listen to kind of. And if you did like it and if it did help or inspire you in any way, please let me know. It really makes my day when people let me know that it is helping people. Yeah, and keep an eye out for series 2, that is coming soon. So we're going to get straight into the video. The first one, well the first 2 books are by the same author. They're by Sarah Knight, and the first one that I want to talk about is How to Get Your Shit Together. Now this book, I don't have a physical copy anymore because if you are familiar with borrowing books or lending out books to people, you will never get them back, and that is just a standard thing. So I don't have the first couple of books with me. I read this one maybe first or second year of university. This book changed my life as it really taught me how to be a lot more productive during the day, and it taught me of the importance of to-do lists. And from then on, for the last 2-3 years, I've had a to-do list, and on, say, at the start of the week, I write out all the tasks that I need to do on each day. For example, it could be going to the post office to send something back, what my work schedule is that week, what deadlines I have, I put it on my to-do list on each day. Workouts, I also put in there, and what days I'm working out, what days I'm going for a run, or if I've got like a dinner scheduled or something like that. It just really helps you kind of see the week, and that book is really, really great, and I would heavily recommend that, especially during this lockdown, as I think it's really important to keep a schedule and to keep some form of schedule in place, because I know I really struggle without having a structured schedule and having things to do and having deadlines. That was the main thing that I took away from that book. So if you need to get your shit together, maybe that book's for you. And I'm actually going to leave all the links of the books for Amazon if you want to go check out the prices or just want to read a bit more about what they're about and what the author has written them about below. And the second one I would talk about is The Life-Changing Magic of How Not to Give a Fuck, also by Sarah Knight. Now let me tell you, this one is certainly a kind of a turn in the road that I kind of did when I read this. I remember reading it, and without this book I wouldn't have started a YouTube channel, I wouldn't have started my podcast, and I certainly would have not had the confidence to do my own radio show at university or even get up in front of people. I think it really helped me with university presentations. I mean, if anyone's been to uni that's watching this knows that you have to get up a lot and stand in front of people and explain why you think this and why you think that and present your own findings and work. So it really helped me with that, and it really just helps you, it makes you think that other people probably aren't thinking about what you're doing, your actions, as much as you actually think they are. The amount that you overthink things and think that people are thinking about you, or what will they think, what will they say, it doesn't actually matter. Why should you give a fuck? And that's all what the book's about. And if you need that in your life, read this book, because honestly, it really did change my life and my mindset to be just thinking, who actually gives a shit? If I want to do this, if I want to start a YouTube channel, if I want to do my own podcast, as long as I'm happy with that, then who gives a fuck, really? Now the third one, I don't have. I thought I did have it, but I think it's on loan to my sister, and it's been on loan for about a year now. But this book is called Good Life, Good Vibes, How Self-Love is the Key to Unlocking Your Greatest Life by Vex King. Now, this book I read in about a couple of hours, I believe. I think I was on a plane in an internal flight in Australia, so like a couple of hours, and I remember I couldn't put this down. A lot of stuff was going on in my life at this point in time, and I really needed this book. This book literally came to me at the best time it could, honestly. I'd really say if someone is new to this whole self-care, manifestation, self-development world, then it's a really good kind of starter book, because it really explains things very easily, and it doesn't use difficult words that you probably aren't used to yet if you've not read, you know, some more in-depth books like I'll go into. However, I do think this is a really good starter book. His stories of his childhood and when he was growing up are really great. But even if you are very into it, it's a really good book to read. It's really easy read and very quick, and it's just a really good vibe. Like it says, it's good life, good vibes, and I'd say that is what you'll get from it. Good life, good vibes. Now we're going to go with number 4. This is called Manifest Now by Adil Ahmed. I read this during the first lockdown and I absolutely loved it. The main kind of thing that I think I got from it is that it has a lot of affirmations in, and they're all in sections towards the end of the book, and you can kind of go back to them, but they're all in different sections. So whatever you're trying to manifest or be more positive about, there is a section for it that you can kind of flick to and either write down or say to yourself in the mirror, or just, you know, think about them during the day. So this section is all about trusting that everything will work out, trusting that everything that you want will happen. I trust that the universe will provide for me affirmations. I am not going to worry about how things will happen. I trust in divine timing. My vision is manifesting. Being patient is so important. I trust the universe. I got this. I let go and make room for new energy. Good news is coming. I believe in myself, all that kind of thing. So you can just flip back to them and then write them down if you were doing like a journal or a gratitude list or an affirmations entry or something. So this book is really good. It's more on the pricey side. However, I do think it's a really good investment. Now the next books, I couldn't fit only 3 in. I had to pick 4. So this 7 is kind of turned to 8 recommended books. They're all by Rhonda Byrne, and she is an amazing teacher, writer, you know, you name it, she's amazing. These books are my favourite books in the world. Now this one is always going to be one of my favourites. This is the first book on this whole thing that I ever read. I read it back in, I think, 2012. It's called The Secret. You may have heard of it even if you're new to this, you probably will have heard of this book. It got a lot of social media attention during the last lockdown as well, and all the way back in about 2011, I believe, it kind of went viral. A lot of celebrities were endorsing it and started speaking about it publicly, and it got a lot of attention. But this book, let me tell you, this book changed my life, and no word of lie, it really did. If you read any of these books, I recommend this the most. There is actually a film of it on Netflix, what kind of is like an audiobook, but in film form. So if you don't like reading, but you want to read this, watch the film on Netflix. It's just free to any Netflix subscription. The concept is just crazy, but it works. Some of the things that have happened in my life because of this book are truly crazy. So in one of my podcast episodes, not sorry to plug that again, but in one of my podcast episodes, I was speaking about this book, and I was speaking on how I found a vision board from maybe back in, I don't know, it was like an old one, but I didn't really know what a vision board was in that sense back then. Maybe I made it, I don't know, when I was like 12, I don't know. And on the vision board, I didn't find it again till last year, till I was in my final year at university. And when I looked at it, I was absolutely shook because everything on it had already came true. However, I remember when I did it, not knowing what a vision board was. It was just like a goals board. And the 4 things on it were, I wanted to visit San Francisco, I wanted to live in London, and I wanted to go to Coachella, the music festival in Palm Springs in California, and I wanted to meet a certain celebrity that I really admired. Back then, these were my life goals. I remember thinking that if this was all true, then my life would be, you know, it would be made. However, I think I achieved all that by the time I was 18. And looking back now, I was thinking, that is so crazy, because now, like at the time, I was thinking, you know, what have I done with my life? I haven't done anything, you know, in one of those rut moods of what have I achieved? What am I going to do? And then looking back, I was thinking, you know what? 11-year-old me would have thought that this would be my dream life right now. I've done everything that I wanted to do, and now I'm still like, oh, why haven't I done this? I haven't accomplished this. I haven't moved here. I haven't met da-da-da. It's just crazy when you kind of make these vision boards and manifestations and then look back and you've actually done it all, which is crazy. So I'd really encourage this book. I actually can't recommend it any more than I do, because I've won competitions through this. I got in university because of this. I passed my A-levels because of this. I got into sixth form because of this book. I've met certain people because of this book. I literally have stories for days from this book. I could make a book on this book. This is the most powerful book in the world, I believe. It's all just to do with the law of attraction and how like attracts like. When you believe something so much and have visualized it every day, and you're positive and putting good things out there, your dream life, everything you want will come to you. And that's a scary concept and it's a crazy concept, but it works. And this book explains all, and some of the stories in this book are so inspirational. So this guy, this story always sticks out to me, and I've told this story a lot on my podcast and other things, the radio show. It was about this guy who makes a vision board, and then 20 years later, he's not looked at it in a long time, and then 20 years later, 20 years later, his kids open the box up, and in there are all his vision boards, and they're asking about them. He shows his kids the vision board, and when he looks at it, he breaks down crying, and they're like, oh, what's wrong? And he was like, oh my God, because when he looked at it, he had a picture of the house that he wanted to live in when he was older, or the house like, you know, his vision for his home when he was older. And when he looked at the picture, it wasn't just like the house that he was living in. He was living in exactly the same house that he put on his vision board 20 years previous, which is just crazy. And it's just such good proof that manifestation works, because it wasn't just like the house. It wasn't, the house he was living in wasn't just I like the picture, it was the same house that was in the picture. I've literally chatted for ages about this book, but read this book, The Secret. I couldn't recommend any more. It's my top book that I've ever read. It's my favourite book that I've ever read, and the one that I would recommend the most. And then we also have, by the same author, The Magic, and this is kind of one that I'd say you need to have a lot of knowledge in the area before you do this one. This one is a 28-day manifestation process. So you read it for 28 days, and each day it sets you a task. It's supposed to make you have a high vibration and kind of really progress within the month. And I did this in September because I had, you know, a lot of things going on. I had a few interviews and things in September, and had a lot of things that I wanted to have a good energy about. I've never really thought about how powerful being grateful is, and just 2 words. One word changes everything. This word is gratitude, and just the art of saying thank you and being thankful just for the everyday things that you're not even grateful for, that you don't even realise that you need to be grateful for, i.e. food, water, the roof over your head, your working legs, your working arms, your working eyes, your clothes. Like, there's so much to be grateful for every day, and this book is so powerful in making sure that you're grateful. The next one I want to talk about is called Hero, and by the way, I took the covers off these books because I really think that they are more kind of aesthetically pleasing on my bookshelf when they look like this, rather than the bright covers that they normally have on. It's all about people's journeys and people's inspirations within the law of attraction and manifesting, which is like a really good read, and it's really inspirational, and I would definitely recommend it after you've read The Secret. And then the last book that I'm going to be talking about today is called The Power. It's by the same author, and ironically, this is the most powerful book in this recommendation video. So I definitely say that you need to read other books like The Secret before you read this one, but this one is a lot more in depth on how you manifest and how you ask, believe, receive in the law of attraction and manifesting. So, but honestly, this is so powerful. I felt so great when I read this book. It was when I was planning my gap year, and I was thinking, oh God, I can redo it. You know, it's such a motivating book, and I couldn't recommend this one more as well. If I could recommend any 2 books from list, as in my top 2 books that I've ever read, it will be The Secret and The Power, because these are the most inspiring to me, the most powerful books, and the 2 that I think that you will get the most from. Again, I'm going to link all the books and the links to Amazon for you to buy them or read a bit more about them in case you need to know a bit more, all in the description box below, so if you want that, go check them out. All 10 episodes of my first series of my podcast Better Days are now out on streaming platforms. If you do want to go check that out, if this video did help you, I'm sure the podcast will help you more, so I'm going to link that in the description box below. You can also follow us on Instagram at Better Days Podcast, and I will link that below. If you did enjoy this video, please go give it a like, subscribe if you do want to see me again. Thank you so much for joining us on this video. Thoughts become things, choose the good ones, better days are coming.